All right, so in today's video, I'm going to discuss utilizing the Greeks to assess your risk when options trading. So there's 5 main Greeks: delta, gamma, theta, vega, pho. And just before we get started, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for educational and informational purposes only. So consult a financial professional before you dive into any of this. And let's get started. So we have delta, gamma, theta, vega, rho. So we'll start with delta. So to break this chart up a little bit here, we have delta and gamma is measuring price movements on your options premium, and theta is your time decay. So that's how your price options premium is affected by time. Vega is how your options premium is affected by implied volatility, which means the market's expectation of fluctuations in price. So usually this is heavily affected by earnings calls or political issues like tariffs and such. And then rho is how much your options premium will change based on interest rate changes, which will be made by the Federal Reserve. So we'll start here with delta. So with delta, your delta could range anywhere from -1 to 1. And this will show you how much the options premium will move for every $1 change in your stock price. So here's a little example here. So say you buy an option, and usually options are bought by the hundred. So your options premium will be $5 per share. And if you buy 100 of those, that's how you will determine that. You'll multiply this by 100. So you have your options premium, and let's say you buy a long call option, which means you're bullish on the market. You believe that the price will increase over time. So your delta is 0.35. What this means is that if this is the price of your stock and this is the time, and your price goes from $20 to $21, if you have a delta of 35, it's going to increase by 35 cents. On the contrary, if it goes down from $21 to $20, the delta means that you're going to decrease by 35 cents. So this is for buying a long call option, which is a bullish bet on the market. So if you buy a long put option, which means you're betting on the market going down, then say your options premium is $5 and you have a negative delta of -0.35, it will do the inverse of what we just explained here. So the inverse would mean if your stock price is $23 and it decreases to $22, that means your options premium will increase by 35 cents. Same thing, if your stock price increases from $22 to $23, now your options premium is going to decrease by 35 cents. So this is delta. So delta will determine how much your options premium, how much you're paying per each share, that change for each dollar change in the stock price. So that's your delta. Your gamma is dependent on your delta. So let's say you have your first day, and your gamma is going to determine how much your price will move for each dollar movement in the stock price based on the delta. So as the gamma increases, the option is more sensitive to price changes. So let's say you have a options premium of $5 and a delta of 0.25 and a gamma of 0.5. On the first day, say your stock price increases from $20 to $21. You will add this delta because that's what we discussed here. So that means your options premium will increase by 25 cents. Now on the second day, if you have a gamma of 0.05, that means you have to add your delta and add your gamma together, and that's going to give you $5.55 with another dollar increase in your stock. So if it goes from 20 to 21 and then 21 to 22, now you've increased by 0.30. So that's how gamma is determined. So delta and gamma work together. These will will help you assess the risk of your options trade and determine what your options premium might do. Of course, this is all just like estimates and guesses, like it's using math to try and help you out, but it is also making some assumptions. So that will determine your price changes. That will help you measure your price changes. Then you have theta. Theta will be will measure your time. So this will measure how much value your option loses over time. So usually time is a positive thing for sellers. The more time, the better for them, and a negative thing for buyers, for the option. So let's say you have a theta of negative 0.02. This is pretty straightforward. It basically just means your options premium will decrease by 2 cents for every day that passes. And this includes weekends, every single day, not just trading days, but every single day that passes by. So you will decrease by 2 cents each day. However, this can also, the rate of change will increase as you get closer to the expiration date of your options contract. So it might go from 2 cents to now 4 cents, and it will just increase as you get closer to that. Those aren't exact numbers, but that's just an example. So you have your price changes, your time decay, and then Vega will determine how much an option premium changes with each percentage change in implied volatility. And implied volatility is a measure of what the market thinks is going to happen to this stock price. So this is very like speculative, but usually the market there will be implied volatility before earnings calls, and the market will determine like, okay, I think that there's going to be some crazy price movements because earnings are going to be really bad, or earnings are going to be really good, so the stock price is going to shoot to the moon, or the earnings call is going to be way worse than expected and the price is just going to drop like a rock. So if you have a Vega of, say, negative 0.02, that means that, so let's say you have your options cost $5. We'll just keep it consistent. So for each 1% increase in implied volatility, that means that your options premium is also going to increase by 2 cents. So usually volatility is greater before events like earnings call, and then after events, everybody kind of, knows what's going on. They have the information, so everything is a little bit more calm and chill. Then you have Rho. So Rho is not as popular. It's not really utilized as much because it rarely changes much at all, but it is how much your options premium will change based on interest rates. So if you have a faux, if you have like a call option, rates rise, that's positive for your call option. If your rates rise, but you have a put option, that's usually negative for your option. So that's just like a quick basic explanation of all the Greeks. So you have delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho. So delta and gamma are going to be your price movement, theta is going to be your time decay, and vega is going to be your implied volatility, with rho being your interest rate changes. So let's put that all together. So how do you like apply this? So I created another chart here, or a little whiteboard here. So let's say your call option, this is a scenario that you could have. So your stock price is $50, your option premium is $2. You have a delta of 0.30, a gamma of 0.5, and a theta of -2, and a vega of 0.04. So let's say your stock price moves from $50 to $51. So what we'll do is we'll add the delta. So we'll add the 30 to the options premium, but we have to subtract the theta, which is 2 cents. So we'll subtract that theta, and the vega just stays consistent. This only applies if there's a percentage change in implied volatility, but let's just assume the implied volatility stayed the same during this time. So we added our 30 for our delta, and we subtracted our -2 for our theta. So now we have the next day goes on and we go up by another dollar. So, and implied volatility increases by 1%, as we can see here. So how are we going to calculate this? Well, now we have to add our gamma and our delta. So we add the 5.05 to our delta, which was 30. Now we have 35. So we're going to add that on, and then we're going to subtract our theta, and so we're going to have 35 cents. So we'll add that to it, and then we'll subtract 2 cents, and we'll add 4 cents for our implied volatility. So let's just say this is 2 cents that we added, and then we add that 35. So then that's how you'll calculate the next day. And I'll leave that one blank so that you can try that on your own and let me know your answer in the comments. Hopefully you get it right, but what we're doing is we're adding the gamma and the delta, we're subtracting the theta, and we're adding the 0.4 for implied volatility. So add that all together, fill in that blank in the comments, let me know how you did. Hopefully this helps. This is a basic, quick explanation of all the Greeks: delta, gamma, theta, vega, and rho. Let me know if you have any questions. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for more videos. Life could be easier. Have a wonderful day.